trying to figure out where I know him from.
We met on social media.
Elan, it's a pleasure to talk to you.
Thanks for having me. It's good to talk to you.
I am, I want to focus on the show at hand here, but I gotta say that, like, as a big horror fan, I've been itching to have a chat with you. I've loved your work, and man, you're still criminally underrated. I say it all the time, but just want to throw that out there.
That's the nicest thing anyone has ever said to me, and I've been in a relationship for 7 years, and still I think you did it. So thank you.
It's a pleasure.
Wow.
But
thank you.
But I gotta know, and you can even incorporate, your contributions to the horror genre and community. But how do you just continue to brainchild these reality shows that they are so unique? If you didn't know any better, you're like, there's no way he did this and The Bachelor. They stand on their own perfectly. So just wondering, like, what's going on up there?
Well, this one I was very lucky in that the team at Fullwell, Gabe Turner and Caroline Roseman, really came up with the idea, and they had something really, really well thought out before they came to me. And they came to me and they said, can you make this show? And I'll give you the answer I gave them, which is, I don't know. And that is honestly the approach that I try to take into really everything I do, which is like, instead of being confident that it's gonna work, I just go, shit, I have no idea. Maybe I'm willing to try if you guys are. And this was a risky one, right? This was, who knows if it's gonna work? Like,
Yeah.
There's something, working on dating shows for so long, you start to get used to things that work, and you know that they work. And there's some beauty to that, to being able to know where the ending is going to lead you, but not knowing how you're gonna get there. That's always really exciting. But the idea of going into this show being like, I have no fucking clue if anyone's gonna find love. I don't know if they're gonna have a good time. I don't know. And part of that, I think, goes to the scripted side as well, which is when you start something and you start writing something, in the same way that when you are doing an unscripted show and you're observing it, which is the people take over, right? These 6 individuals who were brave enough to let us go into their pasts with them and try, which is incredible, and try to find something there. Then it's really just about trusting that they want the things that they say they want and letting them do it. And of course, we want to craft an interesting story around it and find ways to make sure that we're telling their stories in the most dynamic and enjoyable ways possible. But at the end of the day, like, going into everything in my life with a sense of, I had no fucking clue, is probably, I wouldn't say it's the key to my success, because I don't think of myself that way, but it's the key to keeping me really interested and motivated. It's how I get out of bed in the morning, going like, I don't know if today is gonna be good or not.
Yeah.
Let's find out.
I somehow, some way gotta kind of attach again your horror side of this. And I said, the one that got away, that concept seems very scary. I love, like, the whole, like, surrealism of horror, like the things that we always been conditioned in life is just being horror. And I love how, filmmakers are using metaphorical ways to display that. But what's more scarier than going in your past digging through trauma and bad experiences, because that's probably why they are back there, or the idea of the unknown, which is also scary. So was there also, as you consulted about getting on it, was there also parts of you that you just felt a little giggly, like, oh my God, like, this is my cup of tea. Like, this is something I'm excited about.
It's so funny because, to me, horror and unscripted fill the same bucket, actually, bizarrely, of comedy.
Yeah.
It's a certain kind of comedy that comes when you realize that all the things you think about life are just the things that you think.
Yeah.
And when you remove yourself from the reality, like, I can make all kinds of guesses as to how Jeff or Ashley or Vince are gonna respond to someone coming through a portal. And by the way, the portal was something that I felt very strongly about, and I was so lucky to have partners and a network that let me build a sci-fi portal that is based significantly more on Rick and Morty than anything else. And
no one's going to be mad at that.
They let me do it. It was creating a tiny little, like, I really thought of this a little bit as a multiverse show, where you're taking people and saying, live a life that you never could have lived and cannot live anywhere else. And do that now with us on camera, with the hopes of finding someone you'll be with forever. And the truth is that it's funny, but I think the most important part when you're looking for people that are willing to do this is skepticism.
Yeah.
I'm a skeptic. I don't believe that these people are definitely going to fall in love. I know that they can. I've seen it so many times. But I just go, this is not going to work. This is going to be bad. This is going to be scary. And we have those honest the people that come on the show, I'm always saying to them, like, if you tell me that you don't think this is going to work for you, that's cool. Don't fill my head with stories. Like, you're walking down an unknown road. How should you know what the destination is? And I think that that's also what makes these 6 leads so relatable and so interesting, is there's a certain amount of real life nervousness, which I think any of us would feel. I would fucking feel. I would lose my mind. I would be shaking if I was standing in front of that portal. I would be just wondering what could possibly go on. And as the show progresses, I don't know how far you've seen, but
all of it. So
the portal starts being even more kind of interesting as a helper, and trying to use the portal as our voice of God to challenge the things that people think are real and accurate, because you're living in an artificial universe for a short period of time, but it doesn't mean that you're any different inside of it.
Yeah.
And that answered your question, but I get excited.
No, absolutely, because like there was actually very scary parts of folks coming through the portal. It's like, I don't know you.
Yeah,
that's a scary thing.
I don't know you. It's terrifying.
And they're just like, oh, I was just following you on Instagram. It's like, oh, okay.
Yeah. Or even more, like, we hung out.
Yeah.
And you enjoyed me. And you have no idea who I am.
Yeah.
Like, that's, and the one tiny thread that goes from our show into the world is, you go back into the world, these people they might still want to chat with you. And that caused a lot of our leads to really be actually more mindful, I think, and more considerate, which I really appreciated. They didn't treat anyone as disposable, right? They recognized that they also were taking risks and taking a chance.
Jeff speaks to me on that comment for sure, considering that most of his past came from New York, where he has to go back to. So
and he has to go live back in that world, and we want to see people live, even though they're living in a constructed reality or a different part of the multiverse. Let's say they're still just people. And they're just being themselves. And I love their willingness to do that, to stand meaningfully between a gaping, swirling hole of color and shape and sound and say, I might love this person. And as you know, sometimes it works. Which is really the craziest part of the whole thing. Sometimes it works.
I also played with the idea that some of these folks may have eliminated folks and instantly thought, maybe that's the one I let get away. Just that quick. Quick.
And you never know. As life goes on, I don't think any of these stories are over. And that's what's also so exciting, is that you open doors and they have the ability to remain open if you don't shut them.
Right. And I also think another really undertone theme about this is that you can throw game, experiment, all those types of words out there, but a lot of reason why things fail is the lack of communication. You bring everybody on the even playing field to say, hey, let's talk, let's catch up. And those start to generate, the ideas of like, oh, I know who you are, or you know who I am now. Like, okay, maybe this could work. We actually started talking now. So that's like, I love that element to it, which to me is the big key for everybody to take away. Is a little bit of conversation. You may drive a little bit of success here. So
you'd be surprised how many people just haven't said things to you, even though they feel them.
Yep. Yep. Now I know I'm jumping the gun because this is my last question, but considering the brainiac you are, where would you like to see a season 2 go? Because as this season got progressed, more and more different elements started to become about. People getting instantly eliminated, double elimination. I mean, the elimination factor was already a big thing. We didn't even know that was coming, but like thinking forward, because knowing a little bit about you, just progressively always thinking about the next step. Where would you like to see this go next?
I would like to see people have a chance to interact more with people from their past, and I would like to see those people have more of an opportunity to interact with each other. I think there's a really, I think there's a people were wanting to correctly follow the rules, if that makes sense. They want to do what's right. But I think that what the show really is about finding love wherever it comes to you. And so I think that if people were to come on the show in the future and we were to be lucky enough to do extra seasons, I'd love to see people not hold back if they're feeling things that they don't feel are within the confines of the world. I think the world can be expansive. I think the world can do whatever it wants to do. And I just want to open it up more so that we can follow people wherever they may lead us.
I love it. I love it. Let's break those social norms and standards and whatnot. Let's just talk, folks. Let's get back to being humans. I love it. I love it. I love it. Well, I gotta plug it because Agnes was a hell of a movie, but folks definitely got to check out the one that got away. You did it again, man, and I look forward to see you doing many more. And I'm going to forever keep screaming. You're so criminally underrated. You're a genius, and I want to see more and more projects.
Anytime you want to talk to me, you can call me at 8 a.m. any day, and I will chat with you as long as you want because you make me feel amazing.
I appreciate it so much, and thank you for the chance to talk to you today.
Thanks, man, my friend.
Thank you.